All right, so today I finally finished Better Call Saul. Right now, I made two videos on it before in the past, season one and like the other seasons, and yeah, I finally finished season six. It's been a long ride all the way from Breaking Bad, to El Camino, and then finally getting to Better Call Saul all the way from season one to six. And the Better Call Saul is like three or two more episodes than Breaking Bad. So it's a little bit longer, also like one more season, but a little less. Episodes in each season, I guess. But yeah. So, anyways, today I'll be talking a little bit about season six and my thoughts on it. So, of course, if you haven't watched the show yet and you don't want spoilers, then don't continue watching it because I will be going into spoilers and all that sort of stuff. So, anyways, we left off season five with Nacho trying to kill, or not trying to kill, but like helping Gus kill Lalo. And I mean, I don't know how far we got into that. I don't really remember if Lalo, like, we already had like the full thing or not. Maybe that was in the first episode here. But anyways, Lalo did not die, of course, which is kind of dumb. I mean, I really don't get it, right? They hired the best fucking assassins like possible, like a whole fucking crew, and they still couldn't take out Lalo. Like, what the fuck was even up with that? Like, my guy. Anyways, Nacho, of course, he did escape all that. And yeah, I'm just gonna be talking about Nacho a little bit first because, of course, he dies in this episode, season three. I mean, episode three. I mean, he dies in episode three, which is really sad. I mean, his story is just sad. All he ever wanted was his father to be safe. He got caught up in gang stuff, I guess, early in his life, and ever since then, he's just been, his whole family's been in danger, kind of. And he's always tried to make his dad safe. And I mean, I guess he ended up doing that. I mean, Mike did meet his father, and the father was not really happy. So. Either way, the father is safe, I guess. So I guess mission accomplished for him. But yeah, that was just a whole really fucked up situation, man. Gus just really did not care about Nacho at all. He just was like, all right, he's gonna die in Mexico, pretty much, which was really rough to see because I mean, Nacho was like, he was waiting in that hotel, the motel, I should say, waiting at a motel for someone to pick him up to get him back to safety. But yeah, that they did not come. All right, and this man he had to escape that motel because the fucking cousin showed up here. That was a really crazy fight. He almost died, and he somehow got away in a vehicle, which was really wild. I don't even know how, but he got away, and then he had to hide in that like I don't even know what it was, but he hid in some sort of tank, and it was like some very weird oil in it, and he had to like go underneath it for like a fucking 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know how he didn't drown there, but that was really wild. Either way, eventually he got quote unquote caught by the Gus guys, and so they hand him into fucking the people, the people that the Salamanca family, and they discuss it with him like who hired you and stuff, and then he pulls out a gun here. Well, he doesn't. I think he steals a gun, but he basically unbinds himself. He managed to like he's tied up and he managed to untie himself and almost kill Bullseye here, which he didn't for some reason. I don't know why he didn't. Like he was gonna die anyway. He might as well just go out with a bang, right? I mean, technically he did because he shot himself in the head, but he should have taken this guy down as well. I mean, there's really no reason not to. And what I find interesting is Mike was like on the hill, right? He was like watching from a distance with a sniper, seeing what was up with the whole thing. Because I think him and Nacho had like a plan. Because Mike was like, do it," and then when he didn't do it, Mike was disappointed. So I don't know what was up there, but like Mike was trying to plot something with Nacho. Because I don't think Mike was very happy about how Nacho got handled. Because as I said, Gus really just did not fucking care about Nacho at all. Yeah, I mean, I think this was just really wild. That whole fucking scene, the way he just unfucking ties himself, and the funniest thing is that of course he killed himself, right? So he didn't get shot by anyone. He killed himself, and then Hector, man, my guy in the wheelchair, he pulls up, and the cousins they give him like a gun and let him like fucking shoot it with like his fucking arm. They only use one finger in his fucking body, and he shoots the gun at his already dead body. That shit was so fucking funny. But yeah, Nacho. He also was like to Hector, like I was the one that swapped your pills. I'm the reason you're in that wheelchair, which is kind of interesting because I mean, of course, we've seen Hector in Breaking Bad for like 5 seasons straight in that fucking wheelchair, right? And of course, we never knew how he got there, but now we do. And that whole time in Breaking Bad, he probably was thinking about Nacho, not the whole time, but every now and then, probably like, goddamn, this fucking kid, for ruined my life. So very interesting stuff right there. And of course, Hector also he knew because Lalo called him before, right? And he knew that because Hector was the only one that knew Lalo was still alive. Everyone else thought Lalo was dead, up until like right here, I think. So everyone thought Lalo was dead, but except for Hector, because Lalo called Hector multiple times, and he told him that that Gus tried to kill him. And Hector was not happy about that, so he even went on a meeting. That meeting was super funny. The meeting with what's it called? The is it Eduardo? I forgot his name. No, Eladio. What the fuck, Eduardo? With the Don Eladio, they had a meeting, and Hector was trying to say like, "Yo, Gus is trying to fucking do some shit. He killed Lalo, all this stuff." But I mean, he didn't really have any evidence to back it up, so that was kind of sad. I do feel bad for him because I mean, Hector was a badass man. I would have loved to see more of him, but of course, in his wheelchair, he's kind of limited, which is kind of upsetting. But what I do respect is how even though he's in a wheelchair, he's still like upper fucking rank. Everyone's still like abides to him and all this stuff, even when he literally cannot speak. So I do think that's kind of funny. But either way, that's about it for Nacho then, I guess. Kind of a sad story. I really wish he would have come out on the better end, and not death, but like freedom with his dad. But it is what it is, I guess. And I mean, the rest of the season, I guess, is kind of. Oh yeah, right. Jimmy did Jimmy start up his new business here, or like I don't even remember. I think he started becoming like a lawyer here again, or I don't even know. Was it already in this season? It already was here, but I think he bought the new office in season 6, right? The new office that we know as the Breaking Bad office that he used there the whole time. I think he got that somewhere around here. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool, and yeah, throughout this whole time, for some reason, Jimmy and Kim they started the plan to destroy Howard. That was kind of strange, right? Like it was a very funny tale until, of course, it wasn't funny anymore because this man died. But I mean, it was genius. The fucking plans. I mean, Jimmy trolled him in the past, right, with the hookers and something else. I already forgot what it was, but he trolled Howard in the past and with the bowling balls, right, the bowling balls. And he just kept. Kim was like, we got to keep doing this, right? We got to keep trolling Howard and trying to fucking ruin his reputation. Now, I don't know why they did this because I mean I think Howard is not that bad of a guy, honestly. I guess because I mean he literally gave Kim like money for college and shit, and he even like he was pretty nice to Jimmy, right? And even like for years on end, he covered up for Chuck because Chuck was the one that didn't want to hire Jimmy, not Howard. So Chuck was basically the asshole there, and for some reason they put the blame on Howard and still hate him to this day. I don't really know. I don't think he deserves all that, but I guess it is what it is, right? I don't because of course in the end Howard came to their house and was like, why did you do all this? And they never really gave an answer to it. Of course they kind of hate him, but I still don't think that's really reason to fucking ruin his whole life. But I mean, it is what it is. Maybe they did it for self gain, right? So they just got a kick out of it, and maybe that's it. I don't know. Either way, it was really funny. The way I mean, this when he was in the therapy session and Jimmy stole his car, that was crazy. Like they just the plans that they had, and when Jimmy went into the fucking what's it called, the fucking golf club thing, to fucking pretend like Howard was doing cocaine. Oh man, it was just such a good plan, man. I can't believe it. And even here, all right, in the last episode, this the plan and execution is the highest rated uh uh what's it called episode on here, right? This is 9.9. Or this one has a little more ratings, but it's like 9.8. But yeah, 9.9. So it's basically the best episode according to the people. And yeah, I mean Kim is absolutely crazy in this episode, right? I don't know what is wrong with her, but she had like a meeting with like some people, and she could have had like a really good job, I think. But she instead decided to fucking dip to fucking destroy Howard. So they really gave up their own lives to fucking ruin Howard, and it's kind of crazy. Either way, I think their plan was really interesting because of course they did that whole meeting thing, right, with the meeting, and where Howard was under the influence, and they claimed that Jimmy bribed like one of the judges for the Sandpiper case. And I think it's weird because in like the episodes, a couple episodes back, they did this, right? They made photos with the guy that would look like that judge, right? They dressed him to look like that judge, made a lot of pictures, but these were all inside, right? These were all inside pictures, and I'm not really sure what we're gonna do with what they were gonna do with that, right? Because in the end, they had to like switch up their plan because the guy had a broken arm, so they had to like redo the fucking photo shoot because in the photo shoot that they did before, they didn't have a broken arm because they didn't know that. But Here, what they did was they took pictures of Jimmy, handing the guy money. But in the previous thing, they were inside, right, just making like random pictures. I really don't know what their plan was before, if they still did the money giving or not, because it doesn't look like they did anything like that. But anyways, I guess they just switched up the plan last second. But I really wonder what their plan beforehand was. But I guess we'll never know. Either way, their plan went very well. I mean, the fact that he hired the fucking private investigator of Howard to fucking do all that shit as well, absolutely crazy, man. Like they really played him hard. And then of course, I don't know where the man died. I guess here I point and shoot. I think that's where the man died because we have Lalo here, and he killed Howard. That was a very wild crossover. You know, I mean, I don't think he's ever seen Howard before, and he was just wrong place, wrong time, fucking bam, dead. Like it's absolutely crazy. So of course, throughout this whole season, Lalo was like laying low because no one knew he was alive, except Gus himself. I mean, Gus and his crew knew, right? They had like I mean they didn't wasn't able to confirm it, but they had high suspicions. So they took all the measures necessary to what's it called? Be safe from Lalo. They had like whole fucking safe house and all this shit. But yeah, Lalo was he was trying to get proof for Don Eladio that Gus was working on something special behind everyone's back. The fucking meth lab. And I mean, I guess he did record that video, uh, but it probably got destroyed. But yeah, I mean, Gus here, he was not very happy about that. I mean, it was very crazy the way that that Lalo, he sat in the fucking sewers for days, just fucking checking out the fucking guards on the fucking washing machine place. And yeah, it was really wild. And then he finally struck, right? He went to Jimmy's house and Kim's house after they did the whole fucking Howard thing, and Howard was there as well. He was like, "Why did you do this to me?" And then Lala was just like, "Fuck this guy, man. I don't even know who this guy is. He's gonna shoot him to the head." And done with it. Fuck that. So rest in peace, Howard. He deserved better, especially because his whole legacy ended up being a cocaine addict. They made it look like he was a cocaine addict that fucking killed himself after that whole fucking thing. It was very weird. That was a very weird situation. But yeah, so Lalo he had a whole plan. He made Kim go to Gus's house to try and kill Gus. I mean, he knew it wouldn't work. He knew it wouldn't work. But it was just a distraction for him to go to the washing machine place. And I thought it was really weird how Gus like was there, right? Because he had a suspicion that Lalo was going to go there. It was a gamble, but eventually he killed Lalo himself. It was a very intense scene. I thought it was very cool. How I thought it was especially funny how Gus had all this background, right? He had Mike, his whole crew, hundreds of fucking cameras, and then in the end, what he ended up doing was just killing him himself in the fucking meth lab. And what I find really interesting is the fact that Lalo and Howard got buried under there. That is actually kind of fucking wild, considering that we seen Walter and Jesse cooking that shit, right? We've seen Victor die there. We've seen a lot of things happen in that meth lab, and all that to think that underneath that floor always were two bodies that were attached to a whole nother fucking timeline of this whole story of the whole drug business. So I thought it was pretty cool. I think I kind of covered everything now, from the Nutcher thing to the Howard thing to the Lalo thing, all dying, and yeah, I guess let's get into like the last couple episodes here, right? Because I think season 9 here, uh, I mean season, I keep saying season. I mean I think in episode 9 is when Jimmy and Kim broke up, and it was very unexpected, right? Like we knew Kim would be out of the picture, obviously, because in Breaking Bad we never saw her, right? And we never heard a single word about her, so I was kind of unsure of what the fuck even happened. And I mean, they looked like they were having a lot of fun, doing other shit, even up until like this episode. This is when it got real though, because I mean, of course, after Howard literally got killed because of them, sort of. Um, he, they kind of that was a really big shock to them, I guess. And Kim just was like, right, it's enough, it's done. We are bad for each other. We hurt other people around us, and she just dipped. She made I guess a good decision. I mean, I don't know. Imagine if they stayed together though, like all the way up. Imagine if Kim was in the fucking meth business, doing all this shit with Walter and stuff. That would be insane. But sadly, it didn't happen. So Kim left, and suddenly I think like season 1 to 6 has all been in like a 2-year time span. maybe a little more, and then suddenly we go in episode 9, we go from like the present to the future, where suddenly we have Breaking Bad. You know, this oh wait, that's right here actually. So first we have like Nippy, and then we have the Breaking Bad stuff. Okay, well either way, so we get a little bit of the Breaking Bad sprinkled into it. We have a return of Walter and Jesse as well. We see some more footage of when Walter and Jesse kidnapped Saul for the first time there, and like negotiated a deal with him. It was really cool to see some more stuff on that, because of course, I mean, Better Call Saul, man, he's an iconic character in the fucking in the universe, and I thought it was really cool this episode how they just showed some more footage of all this stuff. And what I also was really cool because you know suddenly we were like a couple months ahead, right? We saw like a big house, and where Saul was living in, of course, away from Kim. He had a different goal there, and he did his lawyer stuff. He made a lot of money doing it. And what I thought was kind of interesting is they, they were in the fucking office, right? Kim was in the Better Call Saul office. I never knew that. So we had Kim there, and she was doing the divorce papers. I guess they were divorcing, and that was kind of a sad moment for Saul, I guess. So they divorced, and then Kim went outside, and the next client following Kim was Emilio. If you guys remember him from Breaking Bad, he was like in the first episode or two. He was the one that Jesse was working with in the beginning with the fucking chili powder. So we have Emilio there. It was this Jesse's friend, the client there, and we have Kim and Emilio run into each other. And then Kim and Jesse run into each other because Jesse was waiting outside on Emilio to fucking handle his business with the lawyer. And Kim said some wild stuff there because she had a conversation with Jesse, and I really wonder if she knows that she had a conversation with Jesse after all the shit went down. Like, I wonder if she knows that guy ended up being Jesse. I got no clue, but Jesse asked like if Saul was a good lawyer, and she said he was when I used to know him or something like that. So she thought bad of him. She really did not like that guy anymore. It was kind of weird. But either way, I think it's kind of sad the way that we see Saul, because of course Saul, he was informed about the meth. He wanted to he said he knew a guy that knew a guy, which was Mike. Obviously, he knew a guy, which was Gus. So he was trying to connect Walter to Gus, and Mike did some research, and he said, they're amateurs. They're trash. We can't risk this shit. They're not professional enough. And we saw Saul like pushing it. Like Saul couldn't get it out of his head. He thought like these are good fucking this has potential. So it's kind of sad how of course Saul had a really good thing going on there for his lawyer practice, and it eventually it all got ruined because he pushed for it. See, if he just listened to Mike, like the amateurs, we don't do this shit, right? Whatever. But he really pushed for it, and it ended up ruining his whole life, man. Like all this stuff here with the fucking gene here, all because of Walter. Everything. It's sad. It's fucking sad. But anyways, I guess that's about it for the whole like Breaking Bad stuff. I thought it was kind of interesting how we went from them breaking up, Kim and Jimmy, to like instantly like a year flash forward or a couple months, I don't know. And in the beginning of the season, we had a very weird like future glimpse of Saul's house getting like I don't know what it was, but like they were removing items from it. Like getting searched, maybe. I don't know. And we didn't know. Me and my family would watch it together. We didn't know which house it was. At first, we thought maybe it was Howard's house because, of course, they were planning something on him. But then there were like Better Call Saul posters, and we were like, okay, that's definitely not Howard's house. So I'm not sure what that scene was all about in the beginning, with Saul's house getting like emptied. Maybe it's because that was after all the Breaking Bad stuff went down, and he fled, and then his whole house just got searched, all that stuff. But yeah, so we do get to see him living in that house later down the line. Either way, yeah, as I said before, I thought it was a little strange how it suddenly just jumped so much. We went from just the present day to like fucking Breaking Bad instantly, like months in between, maybe even a year. I'm not sure. And then we went to Gene, all right? So Gene, this is gonna be the last section of the video. This whole fucking 4 episode, or I don't know, is this also Gene? I don't know. I don't know if what this is all about. Maybe the Gene was also in here. Either way, this was a very interesting end to the story. All right, it was actually very interesting. So we had Nippy here, So if we didn't see Gene in a long time. I think the last time we saw Gene was here, and it is what it is. We took quite a while to get Gene back, but we did eventually see a return of that man, and yeah, right, that was right here. So he got recognized, right? Someone knew he was Better Call Saul, and that was kind of stressful. So eventually, what Saul did was call up the vacuum cleaner guy and was like, "Yo, man, I got a dip again. I got recognized." And the vacuum cleaner guy was like, "Oh shit, all right." And then Saul was like, "No, never mind. I'm gonna handle it myself, right? I'm gonna handle it myself." And I was like, "What the hell is he even gonna do? He's gonna kill the guy? Is he gonna do something else?" And he decides to lure that man's mom. All right, so he decides to befriend his mom with a fake lost dog story, like, "Oh, my dog is lost," and then he sabotages that woman's wheelchair, so he has to like push her home. That was really weird, honestly. But I mean, hey, it is all part of the plan, I suppose. So eventually, he works together with that fucking guy that recognized him to fucking commit crimes. Like, what the fuck? So instead of that guy snitching him out to the fucking police, he just decided, let's just become partners in crime, and make some cash. And it went really well, honestly. I mean, this guy is crazy. We had that whole like the thing with like the what's it called, the security guards that were watching the cameras, right? We had that whole thing where he was like giving them like one of those like cinnamon things every single day, and those were some really intense scenes. That guy eating, he was absolutely crazy. I mean, he was chomping down on those fucking Cinnabons. Or I don't even know if that's what they're called. I think that they're called Cinnabons though. But that guy was eating like a madman, and I mean it was really cool. And I mean the plan kind of failed. The plan kind of failed. So they had a plan to rob a store in the time that man was eating, and the fucking guy, he slipped and fell, and Jimmy had to fucking go crazy to like stretch the time for that guy to get back up and just run away, because the time is very like time dependent, right? So if you like fuck up one thing, you're very not so in the clear there. Yeah. So Jimmy went crazy. That was a really really well performance, and I mean the security guard was just like, what the fuck. What the fuck. I think that was funny. And they continued their businesses, right? They continued their practices. So they robbed one store, and then what they did was decide to start robbing random fucking men, or lonely men that were rich, and they meet them at a club and they do some bullshit, and then they drug them, and then they go into their house and steal their stuff. But they didn't steal anything. But like they copied their like identification cards and stuff. They make pictures of all their IDs and banks related stuff, and I guess they just sold that information, and they made money off of that. And yeah, I think it was very, very insane how Saul ended up getting caught. It was actually, it was a very crazy sequence of events, and I actually can't believe it. Like he just let the greed get to him, man. He let the greed get to him, and it is sad. So basically, what happened was there was one guy, uh, they were gonna rob, but he had cancer, right? So one of the guys, it was a team of three, and Saul, what he did was, he lured the people. He found the people to rob, and then the other guy robbed it, and then the other guy did something else. But the guy that was supposed to rob, he found cancer pills because the man had cancer, and he didn't want to rob someone with cancer, man, because that's just foul. So, and Saul was like, "Man, what the hell? You're fired, man. Come on, we gotta stick to the practice here, man. We can't just not do it." So that was kind of wild, man. I don't know why he was so down bad to rob a guy with cancer. I mean, shout out to that man. Uh, Actually, he's a very I really like that guy that played him, the actor itself, because he is in what's it called? Fucking The Big Bang Theory. He's playing as like Stewart, I think his name was, and I fucking love that character. So I was like, yo, what the hell, crossover, man. So I thought it was really funny. But yeah, shout out to Stewart. Either way, they just always down bad, and he robs him with cancer. And the issue here was that it was like already like pretty like a long time after they drugged him, so maybe he wasn't fully asleep anymore. But he went for it anyways. He knew it would work, and it did work. But there was an issue because there was a cop car posted outside of the house, and the guy that was supposed to pick Saul up, he obviously he couldn't really, because there was police, and the police was just having a lunch break. Like they were not going to leave anytime soon, so it was kind of unfortunate timing. And what the guy in the car did was fucking crash. He just fucking decided to drive straight into a different vehicle just out of nowhere. And then the cops went to him, of course, like what the fuck, and then Saul was able to escape. But that man ended up in jail. Like not jail, but like he was on the police station, and he had to call his mom, which was this person, which this mom thought Saul was just a friendly old guy, but no, this guy is a criminal mastermind. And she eventually found that out because she actually got woken up from them messing around in their backyard. They were discussing like the whole plan about stealing the about robbing the cancer man, and she actually heard that and she was like, "What the hell is even going on here?" So she actually did some research and she eventually found out that it was Saul. And yeah, I think it was just very wild because the guy ended up in the police station and he called Saul like, "Bro, I'm fucking in the police station right here. You got to get me out of here." And then Saul called the mom like, "Yo, your son is at the police station. He fucked up." And she was like, "Well, why would he call you instead of me, right?" It was very weird because, of course, I mean, they're not super close, Saul and the guy. She was kind of suspicious there. And what ended up happening was he went to pick him. He went to pick the woman up in order to drive to the police station and get everything sorted and get that man free. But what she did was figure out that he was Better Call Saul. She was watching commercials like, "Well, oh my God, you are him." Uh, it was very funny until it wasn't because she called the fucking cops. She said like, I mean, Saul kind of let her though. Like I don't know what was up with that because he like had her like she had like a device because she could press a button on and she could like help call like emergency services. And Saul like had that button like he had it like tight. He didn't let her use it, right? But then he let go and she used it. So it was kind of self-inflicted. Maybe he was like, "All right, my time is up, man. I've had it coming for too long. Else he has to flee again. If I get a new life. I mean, he's living the way he did in fear all the time, getting recognized and all sorts of shit. It was not even a good life to live. So I guess somewhat respectful decision to just let it be. But then she called the shit on him. She said like, "Yo, there's a man in my house called from Better Call Saul, Saul Goodman." And then no, instantly 5 minutes later, helicopters, everything. I mean, this man is the most wanted man in the United States. God damn it! So it was very fucking wild. And he tried to escape, but he couldn't. Of course, I mean, the whole city was just his car got recognized. They were at his house, and he snuck through the back window, and it was very sad. He was laying in a dumpster, and he was trying to call the what's it called? The vacuum cleaner guy, as if he could even help anymore at that point. Like, well, there's helicopters everywhere. Like, even if he managed to call the vacuum cleaner guy, there's no way it could have happened. So yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, but it was a very sad last attempt. Though, and he got caught in that dumpster. They were like, "Yo, is someone in here?" And then he like, "Yo, yep, it's Saul." And that's where we have the last episode. Saul gone. And I think in this episode we have a perfect showcase of Saul, right, and the legend that he is. So what happens is we have Saul here, and he gets caught, but he's Slip and Jimmy, right? Slip and Jimmy are a character they used to have. He can always talk his way out of everything, and he even managed to talk his way out of this. He was looking at like 1,000 years in fucking prison, and he talked his way down to 7 fucking years. 7 years. He could only do 7 and just live like a normal human being. Um, and he was actually almost going through with that. It was actually very well. And in the end, he didn't go through with it. All right, he decided to tell the truth. He made up a fake story about how Walter White Walter White scared him and that he just did everything that Walter White asked. That he was a victim of Walter White too. So that way it got dumbed down to 7 years. But eventually he got to do like 80 or something because he eventually he said like, "Okay, that was all a lie, right?" I don't know what happened, but he could have just done 7. He could have had a good life after that, but he didn't want to. He just didn't want to. He's stubborn. I think it was also like an ego thing. I mean, we saw this with Breaking Bad with Walter, right? Everyone was talking about how his ego ruined him, and I guess we can say the same for Saul here because he literally said Walter White couldn't have done it without me, and I guess it kind of is a flex, right? It kind of is a flex, to be that guy, and I guess he didn't want to look pathetic because he was like, "Oh, I was scared of Walter. He made me do all this, etc., etc." I think he just didn't want to be remembered that way, and I guess I can kind of respect that. So he just he's like, all right, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in jail. I guess because I mean, I guess deep down he knows he deserves it. He could have talked his way out of it, but I don't know, maybe it just wasn't worth it, I guess. And he got Kim there to be in the court hearing where he got sentenced, which is kind of interesting because eventually Kim actually admitted to the whole Howard thing, which is kind of wild. I don't know if she ever got like put in jail for that. I don't think so, but she eventually did make a comeback here in the Gene era, which was kind of wild. And yeah, it was just very sad, man. And we have, of course, the last scenes here. What I really liked was the bus scene because, as I said, Saul is a legend, man. Everyone knows him. Better Call Saul. All the criminals love that guy, and the whole bus just went crazy. Like someone was like, "Hey, aren't you Better Call Saul?" And he was like, "Yeah, I am." And then the whole fucking bus just went Better Call Saul, Better Call Saul. It was super fun, man. Like he's a legend, and I guess maybe that's what he wants to be remembered by, right? He's a criminal mastermind. He didn't want to be the guy that was scared of Walter White or something. Like he took a lot of credit there for getting sentenced that much, and he even didn't get sentenced a whole lot because it was like 80 years instead of like 1,000. I don't even know. He had a lot of life sentences looking up to him, but yeah, it was a very wild ending, man. Of course, he gets to see Kim one more time. I think that's probably the last time they ever met each other, and their whole story is just very sad, And the way this Kim walks away from the prison yard as Jimmy just looks at her. But yeah, he's very well respected in the prison there though, so he probably will have a good time. And yeah, that was just it, man. That was Better Call Saul, the ending of the Breaking Bad universe. Uh, I guess I don't think there will ever be more. I mean, they said themselves that there won't be any more spin-offs, but man, it's been a wild ride. And what I really learned from this show is that Walter White isn't even the main character. I think Saul is the main character here, man. I mean, come on. Like, it's Saul's universe, truly. I think it was very amazing how they took a side character. Well, not really side. He was pretty important, but they took a character and just like turned the whole show like basically around him. Like I always thought Walter White was like the big guy, right? But I mean, if when you see this show and just how everything got put together, Walter White is merely a pawn in this whole game, and he just happens to be a pawn to fucking ruin everything. Like he destroyed everything. Everything just destroyed. They had a really good thing going here. I think it was absolutely this also just amazing build up to everything, and I really enjoyed it my time watching it. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. It's absolutely crazy, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to end it there. Sometime in the future I'll do a Better Call Saul character tier list. I don't know when I'll do that, but it is coming. And yeah, shout out to Vince Gilligan, man, and all the other writers and all the stuff. That's a beautiful show, man. And yeah, I'm gonna go now. Hopefully you enjoyed, and see you.